Court prepares to overturn Roe v. Wade, I am calling on Democratic Party leadership to withdraw their support of Henry Cuellar, who is the last anti-choice Democrat in Congress. At every turn, my congressman has stood in opposition to the Democratic Party agenda, from being anti-union to being anti-choice. And with the House majority on the line, Cuellar could very much be the deciding vote on the future of reproductive rights in this country, and we just cannot afford that risk.
So that is Jessica Cisneros, who's in a primary battle that'll be decided in just a few weeks against Henry Cuellar, who is, as she pointed out, the last Democrat in the House who is proudly anti-choice. And he has said, as a Catholic, I do not support abortion. However, we cannot have an outright ban. There must be exceptions in case of rape, incest, and danger to the life of the mother. So that puts him at average Republican 4 years ago, basically. That's the position he's at. So for the vast majority of abortions, you will not be allowed to do it. And by the way, this is like, again, like fundamentally, this is demonstrating that he does not think people have a right to control what happens to their body. There's like exceptions where it's really about like the nature of the event, but it's not about your fundamental humanity. And so anyway, back in September, he was the only Democrat to vote against the Women's Health Protection Act, a bill that would strengthen access to abortion and prohibit states from singling out or impeding access to abortion services. So this is both in word and in deed. He is against your right to choose. And Democratic leadership is trying to do everything they can to make sure that he beats Jessica Cisneros, who would be a great Democrat in the House, and also would support unions and would support your right to choose. So why are they choosing him? They have a lot to answer for in that. Why is Nancy Pelosi? Why are James Clyburn? I want to read some of the statements they've said about him, or specifically what they've said this week about your right to choose. James Clyburn said, for 49 years, women have had the constitutional right to make choices about their body. The whole notion of politicians controlling those decisions is beyond the pale. It ought to be alarming to us. I agree. Nancy Pelosi says Democrats believe that every woman everywhere has a fundamental human right to reproductive care, one that is not limited by background, income, or zip code. Her health decisions, including whether or not to terminate a pregnancy, belong to her. Or maybe to Henry Cuellar. Maybe he should be allowed to. It ought to be alarming, James Clyburn says, unless it's Henry Cuellar, in which case, yes, that guy should be able to decide for you what happens to your body. And so they are trying to get him elected. This isn't about making sure that a Democrat is elected. Jessica Cisneros would win in his place, but they are there trying to make sure that again, like symbolically, Viviana, it could not be stronger.
The Democrat Party is anti-union now. That's been the case for a while, and so they're not going to support anybody who's pro-union, who's pro-labor movement, pro the people. They're not. And I swear Nancy Pelosi has some book, like, what am I supposed to say in this circumstance? Let me turn to that page and read that, because that woman doesn't care about anybody but her own pocketbook. It's disgusting. I can't wait till she's gone. Not dead, just gone from office. No, just to be clear.
Exactly. And there you're talking about the natural passage of time and not even much more of it. So again, it's not a threat or anything like that.
I just want to, she lived to 1,000, just out of office.
Yeah, but no, I would love, and you're not gonna get it. You're not. There was The Intercept wrote about this, but you're not gonna get it. Like Chuck Todd is not gonna ask Nancy Pelosi, hey, so in a time when everyone is fired up about the right to choose being eliminated, why are you stumping for an anti-choice Democrat? They're not gonna ask it.
They won't,
because Chuck Todd wants Henry Cuellar to be elected. Let's be clear about that.
He got where he is by just doing what everybody wanted, because there's no reason he should have a show.
100%. By the way, I don't know which. I think this is Sophie. So Sophie's making sure that I get to this. This is a quote from Joe Biden, who said, "If the Supreme Court does overturn Roe v. Wade, quote, it will fall on voters to elect pro-choice officials this November." Well, I guess if the Democratic Party gives you the ability to do that, if they
never mind that we already have. Never mind, we already voted for it.
No, that's totally true too. But I'm saying, okay, then Joe Biden, get your ass to the border.
You're the
president. And go and stump for Cisneros so that they can at least vote for a pro-choice politician. Joe Biden, why? Again, at the very least, they should be forced to explain why in this week of all weeks they would be doing this, but they're not gonna have to do that.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.